Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar host, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by LineStar app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the On Deck MLB DFS podcast brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Hope you didn't miss us too much because we enjoyed the break. Hope you guys did too. But we are back. We are back. There's that song on some Disney show, "We Are Back." But I won't sing anymore for you. We have 14 games on Friday. But before you do all that, go check out LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB, and download the app in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store because you're going to need it more than ever for Friday's slate, as there are 4 totals out, and pitching's a mess. So before we break that all down, you can find me on Twitter at BDintric, and my co-host, as always, at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how are we doing, my friend?
Man, I am. I'm glad to be back. Obviously, a little break, a little reprieve is nice and everything, but obviously the Yankees and Red Sox game got canceled due to COVID stuff today. So we had literally no sports on my television right now. I have a rewatch of the 2015 AFC Championship on.
I'm watching round 1 of the Open Championship.
Right. There's just nothing going on. So it was frustrating. No finals game tonight to have nothing happening. So I'm ready for baseball to get back. But apparently baseball's not ready to be back because we don't know some of these pitching matchups. We're playing our best guessing game, and DK I think got most of it right. The Yankees and Red Sox game, if that even plays today, we'll see. But we switched that one to the pitching match that was supposed to happen Thursday. So we think that's right. Other ones are still a little up in the air, but we're going to bring you our thoughts, and hopefully they can get better organized next time. Like, I get everyone needs a vacation, but you're supposed to be ready tomorrow. So be ready for tomorrow. Let's go.
Yeah, stat providers are still on a break. It's all over the board right now. But who's not on a break is myself and Bogman. So we'll get you taken care of. Hopefully, get you a home run on Friday as well. We'll get to that at the end of the show to get you back going with the second half of the baseball season. But as we mentioned, 14-game slate, and we plan on being the Pete Alonso of this slate, hitting home runs all over the place. So let's start up on this one. We have Chicago White Sox at the Minnesota Twins. Dylan Cease, Bailey Ober. Cease 96 and 84, Ober 64 and 63. Are you taking a chance with Dylan? This is Monday's slate. I need to pull the right slate up. See, this is how rusty I am, folks. This is how rusty I am. Welcome back.
Normally we start. I was like, those teams aren't playing each other. Where are we going?
No, I'm like, Dylan Cease is playing the Astros, dummy. Yeah. Okay, so we got New York Mets at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Stroman, Brubaker. Stroman is 79 on DK, 91 on FanDuel. Brubaker is 65 and 68. Are you going back to Stroman, who's not a bad price on DK as an SP2?
No, I think it's a nice draw against Pittsburgh, but I'm not really into it. And Brubaker, his last start was against the Mets, but he gave up 6 earned. So I'm more interested in bats here. There's some PVB data here. Adam Frazier, 4 for 10 against Stroman, 4 for 10 for Ben Gamel with a double, 4 for 5 for Brian Reynolds with a double. So there's your PVB data. And then guys that were hitting before the break over, I extended it a little bit more to 2 weeks. Usually I just look at like a week, but Lindor, Dom Smith, Alonso, Nimmo, McNeil, Nagowski is cheap, and he was really hitting before the break, as was Gamel. 2,500, 2,400 for him. Wilmer Defoe was hitting a little bit. If he's in lineup, 2,000 on each, kind of a free square. So I think I'll stick to bats in this one.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Ben Gamel, the fact his price has not increased is pretty comical because he's hitting very, very well. I even added him in like 15-team fantasy leagues this past week for cheap. I'm just going to ride it while I can, basically. And at 2K on DK and 21 on FanDuel, I think that's a very nice value. I'm not sure I'm all in on stacking on this one with 14 games on the slate, but I can definitely see picking and choosing. Like Dom Smith's hitting very well going into the break. Nimmo's been okay. Conforto likes to play in the second half. So you can attack Brubaker if you want, but it's pretty much like a Gamel value is kind of the one place I'm looking at here, unless you feel like getting really frisky on this one. San Diego at Washington. Chris Paddock against Eric Fede. Paddock is down to $6,300, and if you want to watch the YouTube feed and see a big smile, you'll see one right here. He's 73 on FanDuel. Fedde's 77 and 76. Do either pitchers intrigue you this evening?
They do not. The Paddock gave up 8 earned run 2 starts ago. to Washington. So pass on Paddock. Fetty has only 3 of his 13 starts has he even gone 6 innings or more. So I don't trust these guys. I'm into bats in this one, pure and simple. Castro 2 for 5 with a bomb against Paddock. And then some of these guys are hitting, man. Machado is hitting. Fernando Tatis, Grisham, Myers, Hosmer, Profar, all hitting on the Washington side. Turner, we saw Soto unloading in the home run derby. He's still expensive, but worth it. Josh Bell was hitting before the break. Harrison had a nice little peak. So I know it's going to look different, of course, coming back, and some of these guys are going to slide, and some of these guys are going to break out. But as far as recent track record goes, that's what I'm going with in this game.
And it's a good point you make, is that little break could take some guys out of some hot streaks or some funks, and you kind of have to go with what you think you know type thing and hope they stay hot. And I do like going back to Soto here at 53. I think that's a really good price point. I think a big second half coming his way. You mentioned Josh Bell, Trey Turner. It's an expensive main stack for Washington, but you can also sprinkle in some of the little cheaper pieces around it, so I have no problem with that. But get the main guys in there, Turner, Soto, and Bell. I'd focus on that. Maybe Eduardo or Alcides Escobar is still super cheap leading off. He'd be an option for you as well. So, yeah, I like Washington quite a bit, as I always like to stack against San Diego. And I honestly think it's going to be a game stack. Fetty's had his moments at times, but, with Tatis, Grisham's been on fire. Pham was swinging it very well before the break. Cronenworth and company. You can game stack this game. This game, you mentioned how Paddock gave up 8 in 3 innings. Well, this is the same game that Washington gave it all back. So there was runs all over the board in this one. I think we could see that again on Friday night. So good game stack here with San Diego and Washington. Boston at New York, if it plays Erod Herman, honestly, I'm just avoiding this game, Bogman.
Yep. Same. I don't think it's going to play. The COVID issues can be a little wonky. So I'm just going to hard pass on the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm passing as well. Texas at Toronto, though. This one is a little more intrigued. Jordan Lyles, Robbie Ray. Lyles 72 on DK, 66 on FanDuel. Ray is 98 and 93, and I am all aboard the Robbie Ray train, Bogman.
Yeah, Robbie Ray is probably your best option today. 4 quality starts in a row, great draw against a Texas team that strikes out a ton, and he gets a ton of strikeouts. And I like Lyles, but I don't want him against Toronto. So for me, it's Ray, and then it's Toronto bats. If you want to go with Simeon, he's 4 for 10 with 2 doubles off of Lyles. Bichette was hitting, Vlad, Lourdes Gurriel. Vlad just won MVP of the All-Star game. So I think it's Ray in like a mini Toronto stack.
Yeah, it's definitely Ray for me. I've said it many times. I'll probably say it every show we do the rest of the season. I'll never talk anybody off a J stack if you want it. Like, they're always good. But give me Toronto, Robbie Ray for sure. Definitely one of the top options on the mound this evening. Milwaukee at Cincinnati, Brandon Woodruff, Tyler Mahle. Woodruff 10-4 on DK, 95 on FanDuel. Mahle 82 and 88. Woodruff's always in play just because he's Woodruff and has that big upside. I think Mahle is an intriguing GPP angle, but what do you like in this one?
I'm with you. I love Mahle in this start. Like you said, Woodruff, last start was quality against Cincinnati. 6 innings, 1 earned, 4 strikeouts, no walks. So a little bit of a lower strikeout total for him. But Mahle, both of his starts against the Brewers have been quality starts this year. And he's, pretty good with the strikeouts as well. So I think I'm gonna stick with pitching either side. And it makes me not want bats in this game.
Yeah, this is one of those 4 true outcome games that we've talked about before. So I'm good if you want Mahle contrarian play. I also know it's Great American Small Park. So if you want to go bats, I'm okay with this. Like, especially with Mahle, because Mahle is all or nothing this year. He either dominates and gets all the strikeouts, or he gets lit up like a Christmas tree. So if you want to go with like the values of a Jace Peterson at 33 and 25, Luis Urias at 4, like even Adames is cheap. You can have some fun in this game and be successful in that regard. I'm not looking to target Woodruff, but again, it's Great American Small Park where anything happens. But I don't mind a Brewer stack if you want to be a little contrarian if you're not playing Mahle. Tampa Bay at Atlanta, and this one we got Michael Wacha against Charlie Morton. Wacha 67 and 74, Morton 85 and 87. The Braves just traded for some jock jams, Bogman. Not sure he'll be suiting up on Friday night, but he could be, and that can make things even more fun. But like either pitcher in this one?
Not really. I guess, I would be in on Morton a little bit. 4 out of his last 5 have been quality. So I kind of like him against Tampa Bay, who's a little bit quiet going into the break. But I think I'm going to stick to bats here. And Freddie Freeman, 4 for 10 with a double against Waka, 6 for 11 for Ender Inciarte. So maybe he'll be in the lineup just because he's got a good history here. 4 for 9 for Orlando Arcia against Waka as well. And then there were some hot bats going into the break. Ozzie, Dansby Swanson, Austin Riley, Abraham Almonte was still a cheap option and was hitting. Brandon Lau started hitting bombs right before the break too, 4,900, a nice cheap 3,300 on FanDuel. Diaz, Kiermaier, and I'll be willing to go back to Wander Franco, especially at his 2,500 on FanDuel. I think is a decent price. So I think I'm going to go Morton or maybe some bats, mainly on the Atlanta side though.
Yeah, I don't mind Morton as an SP2. I will say, if you want to be contrarian with Michael Walker, I don't hate it. The Braves offense has kind of been scuffling. Now no Ronald Acuna. I can see some love there. 2 out of the last 3 starts for Walker, he's put up over 23 DK points. He's been very 5 and 6 innings in both those starts and limited run exposure. So he's been good there. It's still a tough matchup against Atlanta. But I think Walker is one of those intriguing options if you want to save some cash and hope that Atlanta runs quiet still. But if not, yeah, usual suspects. I do like Brandon Lau in this one. As much as I like Morton can get into trouble. And Lau, like you said, has been crushing it going into the break, hitting right-handed pitching very, very well. So I think that's a kind of a nice one-off at least. But mainly Morton for me. Walk if you want to be a little contrarian. Now we get some bats to have some fun with on this one. Baltimore at Kansas City. Keegan Aiken, Danny Duffy. Aiken 57 and 49. Duffy 7K and 68. What are you liking on this one, Boggs?
Bats. I mean, Aiken, only 2 of his 7 starts have gone over 5 innings pitched, and 5 2/3 is his season high. So no thanks. Danny Duffy's last quality start was April 10th. So give me bats. Cedric Mullins, Austin Hayes, Trey Mancini, Ramon Urias was hitting before the break, and he's cheap, 27-24. Salvi, we saw him mash the home run derby, even though ESPN didn't want to talk about it at all. Michael Taylor, Hanser Alberto is cheap, and he was hitting, and so Nicky Lopez was hitting before the break too, 3,000, 2,200, if those guys are in the lineup. So I'm going to stick to bats in this game.
Yeah, your boy Whit Merrifield is always a good one, especially against lefties. Salvi, but I like the Michael Taylor call. He was raking going into the break. Loves hitting some lefties. So you have that going for you. Hunter Dozier looked like he might have been heating up, depending on how deep you want to go with your Royal stacks. Like, see what lineup they put out there, because there'll be tons of value. Like, this is one of those games we always have 1 or 2 a slate that if you want to pay up for pitching or some bats elsewhere, this could be your value game, folks. So get some Royals bats in there outside of the expensive Salvi and Witt, who are great plays. And I don't mind Baltimore either. Like you mentioned, Duffy, he still hasn't gone a full game since his rehab. Maybe he will this time. I know they're trying to shop him in trades, so they don't want to injure him again also, so they might take it easy on him, meaning more Kansas City bullpen. So Cedric Mullins, Trey Boo-Boo, all those bats, lots to like here. You mentioned Ramon Urias, who's swinging it well. I like value in this game in a big, big way. So have some fun filling in some lineups with Baltimore at Kansas City. Houston at Chicago. McCullers, that Dylan Cease guy we talked about earlier. McCullers is 91 on DK, 97 on FanDuel, Cease 9,000 and 8,500. Is this a both pitchers game, or do you like one pitcher and bats? What are you liking here?
I like the pitchers. McCullers, high K upside. Cease has been good too. I can't tell what I want here. You know what? Saying it in the moment, I want bats. That's what I'll say. So you know what? I'm going to scrap the pitchers. I think there's other guys from this slate to pick from that we'll get to too. So I'm going to scrap the pitchers. I'm going to go with the hitters. Hit before the break, Abreu, Vaughn, Anderson, Lurie Garcia, Brian Goodwin was hitting, Adam Engel, Jake Berger, bunch of White Sox were hitting, and it's still the Astros, man. You know, they're still hitting. Altuve, Tucker, Jordan Alvarez, Chas McCormick was hitting too, and he's cheap, 28 and 25. Kyle Tucker's still cheap at 39 and 33 too. So in the moment, you did push me into the corner, and I'm going to pick bats.
I pushed baby into the corner, guys. You guys heard it here first. I don't mind bats because it's one of those where we have 2 explosive offenses. I do like McCullers also, though. In a world where we've had such bad pitching for so long, I feel like he at least brings you like a 15 to 20 point floor, unless he just gets destroyed, which if he does that, then it is what it is at that point. I think if he goes out there, he's put up like 18 or more fantasy points in 4 straight starts in a world with pitching as bad as it is. I think $9,100 on DK is a very, very good price tag for him. 97 on FanDuel is not bad. You just got to hope he goes 6, and that's always sketchy with McCullers. But on DK at 91, I like quite a bit. I'm not going to go to Cease. I respect this Houston offense a ton right now. Tucker only 39 and on DK and 33 on FanDuel seems very, very appropriate. You can pay up for Alvarez if you want. I'm not going to blame you if you want these White Sox bats because there's tons of value there, but I think I like McCullers quite a bit at $9,100 on this one.
That's fair.
San Francisco at St. Louis. Gossman, Wainwright. Gossman 10-3 on DK, 10-6 on FanDuel. Wainwright 77 and 88. This feels like a 3-1 ball game.
It does. And, I don't think either one of these teams was hitting their peak offensively before the break either. So this game, I'm definitely for sure. No pushing into any corner. I am pitching here. Cards weren't really hitting. So I like Gossman. Gossman right now on pretty much everything you see ranks 2 behind DeGrom. Wainwright been so great this year. There's a little PVB data against him, but he's also been in the league since 1863. So I don't know how much I trust those PVB numbers. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and stick with pitching and scrap the hitting here.
Yeah, I'm Team Gossman on this one for sure. I'll be all in at 10-3 and even 10-6 on FanDuel. I think it's a great price. Again, barring something weird, he's going to put up a very good floor for you, which is going to be key. There's plenty of value bats out there if you want to take a couple of expensive pitchers. So I like Gossman quite a bit. You can go Waino if you want. Like I want to go Giants bats, but they're dang expensive on this slate. It's pretty wild looking at their price tag. FanDuel, they're cheap. FanDuel, they're definitely in play. On DK, they're very, very expensive. But like on FanDuel, Wilmer Flores at 24, he's been crushing everything lefties and righties right now. Crawford at 32 is not bad. Even Ruff at 26 is hitting. You're going to get the cheap Duggars and Wades. Maybe Posey comes back after the break. He was out for a little while with a banged up hand, but they sent Bart back to AAA, so I'm assuming Posey will be back to start the series. Something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Posey just wanted an All-Star weekend off.
No, he messed his hand up. Like he took a foul ball off his thumb.
Mm-hmm.
It was nasty. It was.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, hey, don't talk about the MVP like that. Okay?
Look, I'm not saying that it was a bad thing. I'm just saying he wanted the weekend off, so my thumb hurts. It's fine.
Give me Gossman, and we'll talk about the last place Diamondbacks here pretty soon.
Posey was at all the All-Star games I went to, so I've seen more than enough Posey. And if he wanted one off, great. It can be
the World Baseball Classic, All-Star Game, World Series, 3 of them actually. He's been quite a bit.
Yeah, all right. I get it. He's good.
Let's go to Coors Field. Los Angeles Dodgers at the Colorado Rockies. Walker Buehler, Antonio Sensatella. Buehler's 97 on DK, 93 on FanDuel. Sensatella 58 and 57. I kind of want to use Buehler here.
Yeah, I know it's in Colorado and everything, but 10 out of his last 11 have been quality for Buehler. His first start of the year was at Colorado, and that was quality. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned, only 4 strikeouts though, and that it will hamper some strikeout totals sometimes. But I think he's still going to be good. I tell you what, Sensatella hasn't been bad. 3 of his last 4 are quality. He's better at home. I just don't really want him in this scenario against the Dodgers because I could see him getting lit.
I just checked. We have a pitching change here.
No, of course we do.
We mentioned this was going to happen.
Yeah,
and it probably happened many more times after we finish recording. But Julio Urias is pitching for the Dodgers. Does that change anything for you?
It does. It does.
He's 78 on DK. I know that much for sure.
78 is not a bad price.
And he's 89 on FanDuel.
89 on FanDuel. Okay, so all right. Well, look, I feel like it makes the game a little bit more winnable for Sensatella. So maybe that changes some stuff. Let me just see Julio Urias. Let's see his last start: 7 innings, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts against Miami. Has he played Colorado this year? 1 start. It was at home on April 15th. He gave up 4 in 6 innings, 6 strikeouts. So that was a long time ago, though. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to pass on Julio Urias. And I'm going to pass on Sensatella too because of, just it's the Dodgers game here. So give me bats. Give me, McMahon, Fuentes. Pollock was really hitting before the break, even though I hate his guts. He's been really good. Tapia, Garrett Hampson, CJ Corona starting to pick it back up as well. So I'll just go ahead and stick the bats here and not mess with the pitching.
Yeah, this is one of those where I'll take some Rockies value because everyone will be on Urias or the Dodgers in this one. They'll kind of ignore the Rockies, and I get it. The Rockies have been bad, but it is Colorado, and in that it could explode at any moment. You got guys like Story, Rogers, Hampson, you mentioned Crone, Diaz. Have some fun with that if you want to mix in a McMahon or a Tapia, you can. Not saying you have to full stack it, but you can get some exposure here because Urias will probably be popular at his price point of 78 on DK. 89 on fan, probably more so on DK as an SP2, so you can kind of get some leverage on the field there. So I like that quite a bit. No Sensatella for me, and Dodgers are a great play if you want to. Like I'm not, that's a great play because Sensatella just doesn't do it for me. Seattle at the Angels. Chris Flexen, 6,900 on DK, 7,000 on FanDuel, takes on my buddy Andrew Heaney, 74 on DK, 88 on FanDuel. I think Flexen's very live on this one, Bogman.
Dude, 5 of his last 6 have been quality. He's still a low K per 9 type of guy, so that makes me a little wary. But yeah, I'm with you. I could see it. So it makes some of these. I'm a hard pass on Heaney, your buddy, and I know you probably are too. And I know you said that sarcastically. So just to get that out of the way. But there's some PVB data against Heaney here. 4 for 9. With a double and a bomb for Dylan Moore. Obviously, he has been hitting very well this year, but 6 for 18 for Haniger with a triple and 3 homers against Heaney. So he really hits him. 3 for 9 for Crawford with a double, 8 for 28 for Kyle Seager with 2 doubles against him. That's a 286 average. And then, Fraley was hitting a little bit before the break. So was Luis Torrens. So I think I'll go Flexen and some Seattle bats here.
Yeah, I like Flexen as a nice SP2 on DK. I probably won't use him on FanDuel at 7,000, but DK at 69, I like that. And if you want to go Seattle bats, I'm always all aboard targeting Andrew Heaney. Like, he ticks me off from time to time because he'll pitch well out of nowhere, but more often than not, you'll get yours. And the Angels bullpen, not good. So I don't mind some action. You mentioned Haniger, Crawford, and company. I can definitely jump on board with that. Luis Torrens is the cheapie, so you can have some fun there with Seattle if you so choose. Now the fun gets even more fun. Chicago Cubs at the Arizona Diamondbacks. Kyle Hendricks, Merrill Kelly. Hendricks 75 on DK, 98 on FanDuel. Kelly 8,081. I can think you can make arguments for both pitchers.
I think he can too, and it's because the hitting has been so miserable on both these teams as of recently. So I'm with you. Let's go with the pitchers here. Kyle Hendricks, 10 out of his last 11 have been quality starts. Kelly has been good recently, and the Cubs have been awful as well. Already talking about how they're in sell mode because that 11-game losing streak they hit earlier this month. So, yeah, I mean, I'm on both sides of the pitching, which makes me not into the hitting at all here.
Yeah, Hendricks is a great price tag on DK at 75. Everyone's going to be playing him. I think not as many will play him on FanDuel at 98. I think that's a great tournament play there. I think he'll get very low owned at that price tag. So that's a good angle to go to there. No problem with your Kelly take. If you want to use him, you can. At the same time, on DK at $7,500, everyone's going to use Hendricks. This is your game to get your leverage stack if you want Arizona. Like, Arizona's bad. We've established it many times, but if you want to fade
they're only
the chalk,
40 games below 500. It's fine.
Only that's an improvement over like 42 like last Tuesday. So I think that's your angle if you so choose. But pretty much pitching for me in that game. Cleveland at Oakland wraps up the 14-ish game slate we have here. We have Morgan versus Bassett. Morgan's not in play, but Bassett at 99 on DK and 85 on FanDuel could be your value FanDuel arm of the night.
Yeah, 4 of his last 5 have been quality. Good start. Look, I'm not going to tell you to go out and throw Morgan out there, but I will tell you that I think we're going to be more into him as the season goes on. His K per 9 and walk per 9 are both better than Bassett. Smaller sample size, of course, but so far so good for him. So I'm not completely against him, but it kind of does take me more out on some of these Oakland bats than I probably would have been before. Franimal, obviously in play whenever you want. Cesar Hernandez was hitting a little bit before the break. Jed Lowry was hitting as well. So I get there's some bats I'm interested in, but I think I'm more interested in Bassett and then probably nobody.
Yeah, like Bassett a lot on this slate. It really stinks because there's so many slates we talked about, Bogman, where pitching is horrific. There's so many options on this slate. So I'm in on the Bassett train. I think Matt Olson's a great play because I think he could really take one deep on Morgan here. You mentioned Lowry, Andrus have been swinging it well going into the break. I think you can have some fun with the Oakland Athletics as a little late night action if you want to have some late evening fun. All right, before we get into the home run calls of the day, make sure you follow LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB, and check out the YouTube page, the LineStar YouTube page, so you can watch us like when I make a mistake about the Monday and Friday slate. You can see the red at my face turns. It's so much fun. So come check that out. Give it a little thumbs up and subscribe over there. And give us a rate and review on iTunes. We truly appreciate that as well. Real quick, Bogman, who are like your top 3 or 4 pitchers on this slate?
The pitchers, I think Ray is my number 1. Gossman probably has to be my 2. And I think my 3 is going to be Tyler Mahle for the price. I think I really like him. You can never go wrong with Woodruff, but of course he's expensive. But I think I'm going to stick to Tyler Mahle here.
Yeah, if I got to go 3, I'm going to go Ray, Gossman, and Bassett. That'll be my 3. But there's tons of pitchers on the slate, which makes it really, really fun. If you're stacking things up, where are you looking to stack tonight?
I think San Diego versus Washington, either side, it makes for a good stack. Baltimore versus Kansas City, as we mentioned, Aiken versus Duffy. I like that one. The Seattle side versus the Angels. And I'm okay with a little mini Pirate stack here, like a Reynolds, Frazier, Gamble stack. I think for their cheap price is pretty solid as well.
Yeah, so we're pretty much on the same sides on these. I would throw in, obviously, a Coors Field if you want to go that route, but it's pretty pitching heavy in most games, and a couple of games just to go all out on. Let's talking about all out. We're talking home run calls of the day. Where, as you know, if you follow LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB, they tweet out the home run calls of the day from Bogman, myself, and Ryan Humphreys. If you retweet the tweet, 3 lucky retweeters will get paired up with each one of us, and if we go deep, you get some free swag. Bogman, as we kick off the second half of the season on July 16th, who's your home run call of the day?
Give me the home run derby champ, Pete Alonso against JT Brubaker. I like him to go yard.
Sneaky good. I'm going to go to that San Diego-Washington game. As much as I want to pick on Chris Paddock, I'm going to the flip side. Give me Fernando Tatis Jr. versus Eric Fede. Tatis had a great time at the Derby, taking pictures with Little Freeman and company. I'm going with Fernando Tatis Jr. in this one. So
love it.
Let's get things kicking off. We got the early games of the night too, so we'll know real early if we're in or we're out. We'll see who Ryan Humphreys picks, and of course, LineStar will tweet that out as we said. But hey, we got our feet wet. It felt a
Back
lot
on
like
the grind.
It felt a lot like a show from last year with Joe, where COVID, you had no idea what was going on. You know what pitchers were pitching, you didn't know anything. It was like, yeah, we're just gonna do this and pray half of it's right when you guys listen to it. So if you have any other questions, hit us up on Twitter at Bogman Sports at BDentric. Get the LineStar app. There's a chat room in there, plus all the great tools to help you build your winning lineups. But have fun on Friday. Enjoy your weekend. You got the Open Championship. You got some UFC. You got all kinds of cool stuff.
Finals.
And NBA Finals. And you can do all that on the LineStar app. So have fun with that too. But we'll be back with you guys on Monday. Good luck, everybody.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the LineStar app On Deck podcast. Download LineStar app from the App Store or go to LineStarApp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.